Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
If the new Chicken Big Mac at McDonald's looks like a Big Mac, has 3 buns and sauce like a Big Mac, but has 2 chicken patties, then it's not a Big Mac.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Oh my fucking God, guys. It's time for another episode of Don't Blame Me, but better yet, our guest is my best friend, Sydney.
Hello. Happy to be here. So excited.
I'm so excited. This is also like for any of you who kind of like the telltale sign, or when people, it's like a secret word to get into a club that people like, if they come up and ask like and say like, hey, like, are you Megan? And I'm like, no, I'm kidding. I say yes. But people will be like, oh my God, like how's Sydney? And then that's how I know that
they're
like,
an OG.
Yeah. And like, you really do like me. Cause like, you know, my best friend who's like not on like, you know, the YouTube.
Yeah.
And it just makes me so happy. And you guys are all going to be happy. Someone actually, I told you that I was at the Grove and someone came up to me and they're like, you should have Sydney on your podcast. And I was like, yeah, we fucking should.
Mm-hmm. And then here I am.
So you're visiting for the weekend.
And I'm here. And she was like, I hope you don't mind, but do you want to be on the podcast? I'm like, I love talking. Yes. Yes, I'll be there.
And you guys have heard me talk about her all the time.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I know you like really well, and I think I've met you like twice.
Yeah, I feel the same way about you too, because I hear about you all the time.
I have a really small group, so I like to keep it small.
Yeah.
I like
personal
it,
friends.
It's the best though, because then when I introduce my friends, everyone likes each other. Like there's no one I have to keep away from anyone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah. That's all I, except sometimes Kyle. But it depends on the mood he's in, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Well, guys, this is an advice podcast. If you're new here, if you guys want to be on the podcast, leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international callers, you can send us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And shout out to one of our opinionated Olivias, Rachel Lynn High. If you guys don't know what that is our Patreons, our patrons. And right now we're doing shout outs for people who are joining. So she gets a shout out, which basically means she gets a gold star, and everybody else who's listening, you don't get a star. You just get this podcast episode. But check out our Patreon. Find us there. More content. It's a good time. And oh my God, I'm so fucking excited.
Me too.
This is going to be great.
Have you been on a podcast before?
I was just going to say, I'm a huge podcast listener. I've never been on a podcast. I'm a podcast virgin. We're taking my podcast virginity, my podcast deflowering. It's happening right here before your eyes.
So should we get into it?
Let's do it.
Hey, Megan. So first of all, love the podcast. I'm 18 years old and I'm going to be a freshman in college next year. And so I was just thinking about this like kind of story, and I'd never really gotten advice on it, but it's something I should get advice on. So basically this past fall, I dated this guy who's my age, and we dated, and it was kind of like this weird relationship where we dated twice. The first time he ended it because he was like, I'm not ready for a relationship. And then the second time it was basically the same story. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm good. Thanks. But afterwards, he texted me a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, and he commented on one of my photos and like direct messaged and commented to me and was like, hey, we should catch up. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know if I really want to. He asked why, and I told him, I said, because it seems like you have a girlfriend on your Instagram, and you had told me you didn't want a relationship, but you know what? Like, we can be friendly. It's just I don't really want to mess with that. And keep in mind, this girl was like posting photos with him saying like, my boy, commenting like hearts and being like, you're so cute. Like, they were obviously Instagram official. And when I said that, he was like, what are you talking about? I don't have a girlfriend. And I was like, wait, what? According to your girlfriend's Instagram and even your own Instagram, you guys comment on each other's stuff. And it was like recent. It wasn't like it was a month ago. It was like a couple days previously. And I was like, okay. I ended up just kind of blowing it off. And I posted it in like a group chat. And my friends were like, maybe you should tell the girl. But I ended up not, because like I didn't want to meddle in their relationship, because like if they were together and like the ex-girlfriend was trying to talk to her, it just sounds like I'm just trying to like break them up, when in reality he's just kind of being shitty. So yeah, give me advice. Should I tell the girl that this has happened, or should I just keep it to myself? I don't know.
I thought you would. Take it away, Nush.
So also Nush is my nickname.
You're going to hear a lot of weird nicknames.
Heads up.
Nushy Tushy, Squidney, Squid.
Just all of them are me.
Yeah.
Just
know.
So back to the question. So here's the deal. I feel like no matter, like, you have to think about what you want the end result to be. And I know you're trying, like, I think it's very noble that you want to tell this girl, but coming from his ex-girlfriend, it's just not going to be well received. Like, I think she's just going to blow it off no matter what. She might be his girlfriend. She might think she's his girlfriend is kind of what it sounds like to me. Like, maybe they've never really had that conversation and she's super excited and here's my boy and XYZ. But I just don't think reaching out to her saying, by the way, he's talking to me, I think she's just going to blow it off as like the ex-girlfriend trying to make it back in, which clearly you're not trying to do. But I think the end result will be more of a pain for you than for her or him, actually.
I see what you're saying. I'm going to say the exact opposite. But I'm with you. Because the thing is like, you don't want anything. And you're right, because I think like, I agree with like, you think about the end result and like, you don't want anything from this.
Right.
And you don't want anything from him. You don't want anything part of their relationship. Like, you don't have, I don't know, you're not hoping for anything. The only thing is just like to kind of like get it out there just in case. And if it was me, if I was the girlfriend, I would want to hear that. And also if I were you, I would also probably do that. And how I would phrase it is I would DM her and I'd be like, hey, I have no idea if you know who I am or whatever, but like you're, and say his name, like don't call him her boyfriend or whatever. It's like him and I used to hook up. Or like we used to date. He recently like reached out to me and we still follow each other on Instagram, or like I saw on his Instagram that like it looked like he was clearly dating somebody. And I had said that to him and he said that he wasn't. And you can even say like, I don't know if you guys are like friends and the captions are like just funny, jokey stuff, but like, I just feel like I'm obviously not acting on this and not saying anything, but at the off chance that you guys are dating, like, I just wanted to like, just as an FYI, like, just as that, not like, hey, he's a really shitty guy. Like, this is what he did to me during our relationship. It's just kind of like just saying it to say it, because I think more likely than not, she's going to blow it off. But if something were to happen later on, which it will, her mind's going to go back to this and be like, oh, yeah. It's just planting that seed. Like, I had a friend who had a girl DM her that was her ex-boyfriend, but her current boyfriend at the time, it was his ex-girlfriend. And she was like, FYI, he didn't tell me you guys were still dating. Like, we've still been hooking up. And she was like, immediately was like, no, fuck this girl. She's totally lying. And then confronted her boyfriend. He's like, no, she's like so totally crazy and lying. Months and months after all of this, the relationship starts getting really shitty. She starts to just be suspicious and starts to like that. She can't get that out of her mind was that. Ends up catching him cheating, and he had been cheating. And for her, she's like, as much as like I was so mad at that girl, she's like, it, and like I was pissed at the time, and like it didn't help me at the time, and like her goal was to like have me avoid the situation. She was like, get the fuck out of here with this guy. And she's like, and my anger was super misdirected. She's like, I didn't stop thinking about it, like not in a way that like it didn't ruin their relationship. He ruined their relationship,
right? But
it was there to like the seed that made her feel like she wasn't crazy when she started to get suspicious of stuff. So I think like I would just I would message and just say that. And even if you don't want to say that you used to date him, you don't even have to like say that if you don't want to. You can just say like, hey, like he texted me and like started hitting me up, and I like checked his Instagram to like see if he was single, and it really looks like he's not. So like, I just want to give you a heads up. And you can, and like, again, I don't know if you guys are together. I don't know what your deal is, but if it was me in the situation, I would just want to know. And like, that's all.
I would send the screenshots.
Oh my God, 100% I would send the screenshots.
Because then it shows that he said, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's not my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So
I just think like I don't think that like you should meddle in other people's relationships if you have stake in any of it, and like you want it, or like he's such a dick guy and he sounds like a dick, and like it'd be nice to prevent another woman from dealing with it. But again, like some terrible guys go through phases and they end up with other girls and they don't treat them terribly. Like I had an ex-boyfriend who like when he broke up with me, the next girlfriend's like, he's the greatest guy ever. I'm like, what the fuck? He was so mean to me. But give everyone the truth so that they can make their own judgment calls on it.
I mean, the screenshots I actually think are a good call, because then it's like she can't really blow it off because then it's there. I'm very much like I hate conflict, like retreat, like get me out of this. Like I don't want to be anywhere near this dude. Like sounds like he wasn't great to you. I would just like distance myself and like take care of number one and be like, you know what, have at it. Like you're going to do your damage. Like that's not my business, but that's just me. Like I would be like, nope, I don't want it. Like just put it over there.
Let us know how it goes.
Let us know what you choose to do.
Yeah, I'd love to know. If you want to slide into our DMs at the podcast, Don't Blonde Meme Pod with some screenshots, let us know.
Hi, Megan. I have a really long story, but I'm going to try to make it short. I've been single for about 2 years now. In October, I started talking to a guy. This went on for about 5 months. It really wasn't that great. He kind of just wasn't giving me that much attention. I kind of felt like the side chick. Wasn't that great. Finally decided at the end of that 5-month period, which was in March, to have sex with him. It was the worst sex of my life. We now call him the 5-minute man because we had very slow sex that lasted about 5 minutes. Anyway, he has just now reappeared. He's been texting me, apologizing like crazy. Oh, forgot to mention this. He ghosted me after the 5-minute sex. And I was actually willing to keep continuing after that because I know that it's always not perfect the first time. But he ghosted me. He's now reappeared, begging for my forgiveness. I'm being such a bitch to him. But there's this little part of me inside that wants to hang on. I don't know why. So my question, the obvious answer is, he probably won't change. But my question to you is, do you think there's any way he could change? He's not in the area with me right now, so I know this isn't just like he wants to fuck. But I'm not sure what his intention here is, to waste my time more or something. I don't know. I'm being such a bitch to him, and he keeps trying to talk to me still. I'm 21, by the way. I know that matters.
This is Sydney.
I have been
How
there.
many people have you given, like guys, have you given second chances to?
Dumb chances.
That literally never deserved after the first one.
I have to count. Like so many.
And also there's
easily 6 or more.
And almost all of them had the same one. A huge group had the same name.
I dated 4 Michaels.
And
they were all bad. They were all bad.
It was.
I thought you were going to say at the same time.
No, not at the same time. I don't know.
You don't
sidebar. Don't know how people date multiple people at the same time. I've never been able to.
Have the time.
I don't have the time. Who has the time?
Nobody.
Like when people are like, I don't know if he's dating other people. I'm like, does he have time? Like, how? Okay.
Does
anyway,
he have a job?
Right. Yeah. Like if you have a job, I don't know how you keep that up, but good for you if you can.
Also, can we loop back to the slow
That's 5 minutes.
minutes?
I just think that is enough reason. Just like hold that on in your mind. Like what I wish I had done during this period of time when I was dating shitty people and giving them second, third chances is that I wish I had wrote down bad things. And then like when I was in my moment of like weakness
or clarity, when you're like starting.
Wrote them down in my moment of clarity for my moments of weakness when I'd be like, well, should I just like do it? Like go back? Cause like, I don't know.
Such a Cancer. It's so cozy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe. What do I want? And like, if I had just been able to be like, remember that he finished while going down on you, I'd have been like, yup, I'm out.
What?
I remember.
Yes.
That happened to me.
Was he jerking himself off?
I don't think
Was he
so.
rubbing against the
think
mattress?
I think rubbing against mattress, which is actually worse in my opinion, because like that's weird. It was bizarre. It was the most bizarre thing that's ever
Also, because
happened
you
to
didn't
me.
finish, did you?
No.
And he did.
And I was like, it's cool. It happens. And I'm like, that does not
And then your
happen.
feet are just in cum.
Like,
Not my feet, thankfully. Like it could have been my feet if I didn't know. Like I was like, oh, what? I was like taking a double take. I'm like, is that what I think it is? Yeah, it's what I think
or the guy
it is.
who cried when you were making out with him, or the one who had like shit himself on the date.
Oh God, yeah, him
These
too.
are different people.
All named Michael.
Michael.
Yeah, these are different people.
But this is the so we.
Well, okay, I will say the shitting himself on the date.
That could happen to me.
Well, yeah, like he was like, oh, I have food poisoning. And I was like, we got to get that checked. We got to wrap this up. And so we left. And then I did give him a second shot after that. Because when I told people.
That's not his fault.
That's not his fault.
No,
and I
it's
told
true.
people the story. And I was like, I went on the date from Along Came Paul. And they're like, oh, you shit yourself. And I was like, no, I was actually Jennifer Aniston. I know. Like, I know I'm not Jennifer Aniston in any other way, shape, or form. But in this scenario, I was Jennifer Aniston. And he was Ben Stiller.
But I was going to say the term that, or like the phrase that we use on the podcast so much was actually coined for the first thing, one of the things I told you when you were dating them, which was you have to figure out, did you have fun because they were there or because you were there?
Yeah. So what you have, there's that. Like if you are someone who's conversational and like who gets along with people, like maybe don't judge your dates by like, oh, but like the conversation was good. It's like, well, was the conversation good because you talked the whole time?
Yeah.
And they asked you 0 question about yourself. But anyway, it sounds like, first of all, even before the 5-minute sex, it sounded like
long
5-minute sex, that this was super
Slow.
lack
No.
of
Oh, sorry.
slow,
Which makes
5
it long.
minutes.
Yeah.
That sounds like the longest 5
Does he
minutes.
have,
That's
like,
like
a
a
really-
microwave
I'm
5
is he
minutes.
like just like
Does he have a really long penis?
Yeah.
Like just so long, it
Like,
takes
it's
him like
just-
30 seconds
to like pull
make
out
contact.
and then move back in.
Like
I
he's
just,
like, he makes a semi-truck noise.
and then backing out
that's
again.
when he's backing up. Yeah.
Like this is just bad. Also, like you can have better sex out there. Like even if he was nice to you, like and the sex was bad, like but it sounds like he wasn't even great. Like it was already lackluster. And you know, I just think, you know, you don't date like it's a job that you're trying to keep. Like date like you're being selective. Like you're the interviewee and they're on the job. Like interviewing to be your
I wish you
boyfriend.
could have given yourself this advice.
Yeah, same.
She's got to live through
No,
it.
but it's amazing.
She lived through it, so now she
I
can
lived
get
through it so I could give this advice.
Yeah. It's
so now
so
she won't date
smart.
5 Michaels. She'll only date 1.
Just date one, Michael. That's everyone's goal. Just date one. But also it's like exactly like you're saying, like there's no good part here. We get so many calls of like girls like, oh my God, he treats me like shit, but like that dick is so fire.
And like I get how that's actually
this
hard
dick
to pull
isn't
away
fire.
from. Yeah,
Oh,
the
we've
dick's not
both
fire.
been there where it's like he treats me like shit, but like this is
so good. And when
it's
you're like,
convenient.
yeah, and it's convenient. And you're like, oh, but I'm busy right now. Like this is like easy, convenient.
I don't have to go to dinner
dick.
first.
Yeah.
Like I'm not increasing my
Like
number.
I could genuinely make like a dick appointment and then go and be done.
Exactly.
Like it's not
no follow up.
But it sounds like
worried.
that's
This
not
isn't what she
it's not.
wants.
This is like-
he doesn't even live in the same place.
doesn't live in the same place, isn't nice to you or gives you attention, bad at sex.
That's my
I don't hear a redeeming
trifecta of
quality.
terrible things.
You
Like-
can't be all of those things. Pick
No.
one.
Also, you have to give me attention. Like that's almost the worst.
We know, Megan.
That's like it is literally like the worst.
Worse than 5 minutes slow sex.
Well, I have one.
Slow 5 minute sex.
But I could see like 5 minutes slow sex being good, but if you're not good at it, then it's a problem.
right.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
5 minutes. Like
But if it's slow in 5 minutes,
No, have it be fast in 5 minutes because
Yeah.
it's a quickie.
I don't know the 5 minutes. If it's
If we
purposeful,
have 5 minutes?
If I only have 5 minutes, but if this is like the first time we've done it and we've been dating for 5 months, like, and there was no like sexual tension build up for 5 months,
Yeah.
like you're
he
out.
should have gone down on her.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
he's
100%.
he's canceled.
And
He's
I
bye.
also want to say, just for the record, like the fact that he ghosted you after, like he might have been embarrassed, but like this wouldn't be necessarily my advice if he didn't treat you like shit too. If this was a guy who was embarrassed and came really fast, like that's not what this is about. He treated you like shit, and then also you aren't sexually compatible. Like even if the sex was amazing, I would tell you, do not go back to this guy. He ghosted you. Yeah. It's not about the fact that he ghosted you to like save his pride because he was embarrassed that he came so fast. Like it's not about that.
He has a lot of growing up to do.
He treated you like shit. It's not fucking worth it. Honestly, it sounds like you're bored and you like having someone to talk to. He's not even nearby, so like someone to text who's like flirting with you and all of that stuff. Sign up for dating apps, start talking to a bunch of different people. Even if you have no intention of meeting them, just fill your texts and your time just talking to other people who are giving you that attention. That's not him, because you already know that he can't give you the attention you actually want, but like you're able to like rationalize it when it's like, oh, well, we're just texting, like, you know, it's like, oh, ping, my phone went off, like, oh, okay, like we're still kind of talking now. You already know that this isn't gonna work, so don't invest your time on this.
The best solve is a new dick.
Just go a couple of new guys to talk to. On to the next.
I'm 21 and I'm calling because I have kind of a unique situation, I guess. So I just moved to a completely different state literally 17 days ago. And 7 days ago, Monday, as in 8 or 9 days after I have moved, I had something really scary happen to me. A guy followed me from my car up to my apartment building and tried to break into my apartment. So that was not a great time. I had to call 911 and everything, all that jazz, make a police report. Cool. I guess kind of half of this question is, how do you get over something like that? I'm still really jumpy. I live alone. Every time I hear noises, I freak out. I can't go outside when it's dark anymore. It's only been a week and a half, but it's really altered like my way of life. Like I can't go grocery shopping if I know I'll come back like at night. I don't leave my apartment after I come home from work. But on top of that, my boyfriend has truly been the best human I could have ever asked for. He, installed like a new security system, paid for like a few cameras that was on my apartment now. Like I feel super safe, We're in North Carolina, so we went shooting, did the whole carrying class and stuff like that, whatever. But I feel bad because I feel like I'm taking up so much of his life, I guess. And he's giving up. He got really behind on school. Like he's been really stressed out and stuff, all because like that first week I couldn't be alone. I stayed at his place basically the entire week. And I don't know up to what point is relying on him too much, not enough. I don't know. He keeps trying to put it back himself. He's like, I wish that I could help you more. Like I'm not doing enough because I'm not helping you enough get over this. I'm not doing enough for you. But I tried to explain to him like he's doing way more than anyone could have ever asked of him. So I guess I'm just trying to figure that out too. And I'm afraid that this big, stupid, unfair situation is going to cause a real bad effect on our relationship. And I don't know how to stop that from happening.
That's so fucking. First of all, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Scary.
That's awful. I would also be so jumpy and sketched out and scared.
Like the things that you describe, like I don't do that already. Like I don't leave my house once it gets dark. Like I don't go grocery shopping, like any of that stuff. And like that's just from me being like paranoid. So I can't even like imagine how you feel from like an actual like
I feel like
effect
this is
from that.
Like a two-parter, because one, how do you now heal after this horrible trauma has happened to you? And then two, the part affecting your relationship.
I think the safety one, I said it in the last episode, but there's this app called Noonlight, which I've never, knock on wood, had to use, but I found it through, that's not wood, that's wood. Is that wood?
No, that's metal. Okay. That's the same thing that this is. Wood.
Okay, I knocked on it. But I saw like, you see, like I follow a lot of like feminist Twitter accounts and stuff. And it's a lot about like women helping other women stay safe. It's basically just an app where if you are being followed or you feel like you're in danger, you're in an Uber that won't let you out, you open the app and you just hold your finger on this like little button. And then as soon as you let go, you've got 5 seconds to enter your passcode if you're fine. And then if you're not fine, they are already tracking your location as soon as you are opening the app. And then they will send police there and they will have someone to like, will talk to you and message you. And even if it's it's like, oh, nothing happened, but like I felt really uncomfortable, they'll have someone they can, like someone will message you, like someone will still come by and check. Even if you say like, oh, it's fine, they're still going to send somebody to check on you.
That's kind of like better. It's like an app for calling 911 because at 911 they still follow up.
And I think it's also like if anything were to happen, like just by opening the app and pressing the button, you're already doing it. You don't have to talk. Like if someone like knocked your phone out of your hand, you have like 5 seconds to enter your passcode. They can't even hand you your phone in that time. They're already going to show up. Like it's, I tell everyone to download it. So I would say if you if you're interested in true crime and everything, I would take a step back for now. I would take a step back from anything that's triggering. I definitely like when I'm in like a higher paranoia or just like higher anxiety, like I don't listen to true crime stuff. My friend had like told me, she's like, oh my God, I downloaded like this like police blotter thing about like all crimes in your areas. And I downloaded it and I was like, I had a panic attack that night. And Mom's like, we're going to delete this from your phone. So I would say surround yourself with like, it's being smart and safe and cautious is great. And I think no matter what, you're always going to do that. And I think what you need to do now is surround yourself with stuff that makes you feel like warm and fuzzy, whether that's like only watch comedies, like watch funny TV shows, The Good Place, Friends, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, nothing that's anything scary or like stressful in it. And, you know, get like a nice new like fuzzy blanket and like drink tea. I don't know. And no, you have guns, so I doubt you also have weed. But like things that are going to calm you and like make your house feel really safe, that you're not trapped in there and it's the only safe place that there is. But try and make it feel like, oh, I'm here because it's cozy and I enjoy it. Like it's a like you want to spend time there, not that you feel trapped because like the outside world is like scary and stressful, you know?
Yeah. And I think also, you know, don't have expectations of yourself right now. Like give yourself the time and space to heal and say no to things that you have to say no to, and just kind of treat yourself like a toddler. Like I'm hungry, need to eat. Like I'm tired, go to sleep. Like just take care of like all the little things. And I think the healing will come with time, but it's also been a week, it sounds like. And that is really recent. So just give yourself time to heal and also have low expectations of yourself. Like don't beat yourself up for not being able to do certain things or whatnot. Like just do what feels good for the moment and you'll slowly get there. I think I don't have, luckily, personal experience with this kind of trauma. So not necessarily speaking from experience, but I think if you're trying to get over something difficult or you're going through a rough time, just treat yourself like a toddler. Like also like let other things go. Like just think about like things that are mission critical.
Yeah,
like
the
feeding
pure
myself,
necessities.
Sleeping, you know, school, maybe like let your teachers know if you know, need some space or whatnot. Yeah. For your relationship.
One thing I want to add too. You said that you'd done a shooting class. I would also say a self-defense class would be really great.
That sounds good. I feel like that'd be a good confidence builder.
I think it would too. And I think also from there, you could probably ask your instructor, like, hey, do you know of any like women's groups or support, like any like where we can like just talk like about that kind of stuff, whether it's like any like victims of violence or anything like that, where it's like you're just surrounded by other people. Because I think your big issue, and this is what will lead into the relationship part, is that you feel like a burden right now. And I think the more that you can like, obviously not surround yourself with like triggering things, but like put yourself in a place that it's like, oh, I'm not a burden. Like this has happened to a lot of other people and like I'm strong and like I'm going to be okay. And all these other women are okay. And I have like a support system. I think that is, would be really great too. And we always say therapy, but I also know that's not necessarily,
that's not available for everyone.
Yeah, available for everyone. But there's also apps. BetterHelp, always a sponsor. It's a good one.
Okay. So about your boyfriend, I understand why you feel like a burden, but I think you should listen to him when he's telling you that you're not. Like, just believe him because you're not. And also, yes, this is like a really big trauma and most relationships don't experience something like, or maybe not most, but like this is kind of more of a different case for,
or for
like,
you, like a
new thing that you two are experiencing together. And I think it's great that he's helping you and being there for you. And if it weren't this, like there's always going to be life stuff that puts stress on your relationship. And so I actually think it's great knowing that like when you're going through a hard time, he's very present and very there and like doing the most, because now you know one, that like he's great in a crisis and you can rely on him and have him be there for you and have him be a good support. And also you will, you'll pay it forward eventually. Like he'll be going through a hard time. If you're in a relationship for a long time, like you'll eventually be there for him too and be able to help him through something difficult. I don't think he should feel like he's not, doing enough, because ultimately, like, no matter how much he puts security cameras up or takes you to do things that make you happy and whatnot, like, it's you that has to do the healing, unfortunately. And he, is doing a great job in aiding that, I think. But I don't, this is also a lot of like personal stuff too that, I don't think he should be feeling like he's not doing enough.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think you're projecting the worry of this, your relationship. Like you know that none of this is your fault at all, but there is something that happens when you experience trauma that like you feel like a burden, and especially women love to assume and take responsibility for things that aren't our fault. And this isn't your fault, but like there is a part of you that right now is feeling like a burden with something that like a man would never feel like a burden to a woman who, if he had been through some crazy trauma like this, is like, oh no, I feel bad. Like this is something like he's doing what he should do. Praise him, thank him. That's being amazing. And let him know like there's nothing more you can do. You're doing amazing, but I don't want you to be afraid that this is going to ruin your relationship, because he's like stepping up to the plate. And if you feel at any point, like, I don't know, if you guys want to like go to like even if it's like you find like a group together to talk about that.
And he's in school, so there might be you guys things that he can go to at his counselors at school.
Can go talk to someone together. I would say, I think it's so great to have him and be able to trust him and like let him in. I'd also say that because you've had a great experience trusting him and letting him in, you can let someone else in too. Like you can let other friends in, and they can also make you feel like you're not putting it all on him. Because I don't think that like it's a bad thing at all that like he's being a great support system. But I think it would like, it'd be great for you if like, that your support system is more than just one person. You can have these other people. Like you can have like, he's got a test or whatever, and that he's going to drop everything for you and be like, I'm going to go sleep at like one of my friends' houses. Like I think you're going to feel really supported and great the bigger that you make that circle of people and of the people that you already know. And I think like friends in general, like when you're like, if someone's in an unsafe situation, like they're going to want you to crash on the couch. And I think it's just going to alleviate you feeling like a burden on, you know what I mean? Like you're putting it all on him. Because I don't think that you are, and I don't think that like you should feel guilty about that. But like for your own psyche, if it feels better to know that you have like 3 people to turn to, or like anything like that, or even like take a group of girlfriends and be like, hey, I'm gonna go do a self-defense class. Like, do you guys want to come? Like I'm sure like a lot of your female friends would like love to go do that with you.
She might not have any though, because it seems like she just moved.
Oh, true. Well, great place to meet friends.
I was just gonna say, even a better reason to go to a cool thing like a self-defense class, or a workout class or something. Working out is great, like just brings your stress level down, makes you feel good
and strong, and like I always say, like I work out to feel capable. But he sounds like a great guy, and I'm like so sorry this happened. And also maybe think about getting a dog.
Oh yeah, a dog would be great.
Yeah,
if you're allowed to have a dog. Well, it could be an emotional support animal, then they have to let you have a dog.
Have a dog. It's someone like just like I think that'd be really great. I get messages daily, people saying, you should get a dog. And I'm like, I know I should.
I kind of want you to get a dog.
I want a dog so bad. We're going to do it. Once we get back from Europe in October, we're going to get a dog. It's happening.
Well, now you said on the podcast, now you got to get a dog.
I've said it probably 50 times. No, but we're going to. But I think that'd be great for you. Maybe even a roommate eventually.
Or you could foster dogs if you can't fully commit.
Maybe volunteer with dogs too.
I know someone who did that with Muttville, and she would just bring dogs home and she would like bring them to the office. It was great. Really great.
I love that. Okay. Well,
I'm sorry this happened to you, and I hope that you're on a path of healing.
Yeah. Check back in with us. Let us know if you get a dog.
Yeah, send pics.
Yeah. Or just find other people's dogs and just hang out with them. Become a dog walker and just hang out with dogs.
Wag.
Do it. Okay. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. So we're back from our break and we're going to hop into the rest of the calls.
I am 23 and I've been with my current boyfriend for about a year and a half. We do live together. And we have a bit of a situation. So we've both been with multiple partners. We've both had active sex lives previously, and that's no issue for either one of us. We're both happy with that situation and that we kind of, got our jollies out and now are happy being in a committed relationship. And in the past, I'm just going to come out. I've always gotten positive reviews, if that makes sense. I've always gotten guys saying, "Oh my God, that was amazing." I've had guys that are like, "You're the first person to get me to come like that. You're the first person to get me to come through doing this thing." And that's always been a confidence booster for me, knowing that, or believing that I was good at sex, because I had never gotten any complaints. I had only gotten positive reviews from the guys I was sleeping with. And now, a year and a half in, he hasn't complained previously, but now he's saying that I am not actually good in bed, that was just in my head, I guess. And he asked me, he was trying to be sweet about it, but he pretty much was saying that, like, I need to start doing Kegels because I've, gotten loose, which I've been doing, because, like, okay, that's fair. But then also that, like, I bend his dick when I come and that hurts. So, like, I need to not do that, which I didn't know that was happening. But now I'm so insecure about it, and I don't even want to have sex anymore because I'm scared I'm horrible at it. And I'm also freaked out that now he's going to cheat on me, because why would he stay if it's so bad?
Oh my God.
He's just got a weak dick.
Yeah. And also, like, straight up though, like, and I say this out of like love because I would want someone to tell me this. He is trying to get you to break up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why he's saying this. This isn't like.
Also, all of a sudden, you've already moved in together and you've been together for a year and a half. And it's like, hey, I know it's been countless times of fucking, but you've lost it. Like that's not a thing.
No, like, and you're worried that he's going to cheat on you. Like, this is him like, this is a weak ass dick move of him trying to get you to break up with him so he doesn't have to do it. Like, that's also FYI, just so you know, and anyone listening, that's not like, you don't loosen a vagina with a dick. Mm-mm. Like, that doesn't happen at all. Like,
yeah.
That's
not how vaginas work.
And also, let's talk about tampons for a second. I know that we talked about there's a wide set, Mean Girls, like I have a heavy flow and a wide set vagina. Cut the second part out. If you have a heavy flow, you need a super tampon. That does not mean that your vagina is large. Yeah. That doesn't mean anything. That just means that, like, you're bleeding a lot and you need more than like a very small, like, tomorrow's my day too. Bet your fucking bottom dollar I'm going to be wearing a super jumbo tampon at Disneyland. Like,
but he's contradicting himself. He's saying that she has a loose vagina, but when she comes, then it bends his dick.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
No.
Nothing
he
about
needs
that
to
makes
try
sense.
and lie better. But guys are also, I'm just going to throw out there with your previous reviews, like, you have hundreds of great reviews and one liar. Inconsistent. Yeah, and one liar.
It's a Yelp reviewer who never actually got a service done there.
And that's
when we call and we get it removed.
Yeah, you call and you get it removed because it's not a legitimate review. Like, he's just kind of like trolling your Yelp page, essentially. But not to be insensitive to the fact that you do live together. It sounds like that, when you break up and you live together, obviously that takes a bigger toll because it's not just over. You also have to, like, find a new place to live and split the cost of the couch, whatever, like all the bad logistical stuff that comes with living together. But I just think there's no way he was sweet about that. Like, that's so mean.
There's no nice way to say that. And it's also just bullshit, because also, like, there's a difference between girls finally admitting, like, by the way, you've never made me come, I've been lying. Then a guy's like, you're not good anymore. It's like, well, bitch, you've been coming for the last year and a fucking half. Like, you mean this is bad? Like, you're coming, you're finishing. Like, it's like,
The
No.
proof is in the literal pudding.
And also, oh my God, literally.
Like, unfortunately, they can't fake it.
No.
Like
at all. And also,
it's just there's physical evidence or there's not.
Or there, and on top of that, like if this was truly like he felt like you're like he wanted to spice up the sex life, or he felt like it was getting a little stale, or even if you were like trying out a new technique, or maybe even it took him a year and a half to admit that like he doesn't totally love the way you give him blowjobs, like he still gets off, but like it's not his favorite, he would like give you gentle instructions and directions while it's happening and just be like, hey, or like I want to try something out. He would never say like you're bad at this and like you need to start doing Kegels, because that's not constructive. The Kegel thing is just an insult. That's not constructive. And also like boys don't understand vaginas. So like don't like, he doesn't know what the fuck that means. Like he doesn't know what that means at all. You want to tighten your pelvic floor? That has nothing to do with the tightness of your fucking vagina. Literally people tell women to do Kegels when they're about to give birth because it helps them push a baby. And also it helps you if you have a weak pelvic floor. Like so you don't pee yourself, you do jumping jacks.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna...
Yeah, like that's also not gonna make you better in bed.
No.
Or whatever. But also like outside of this, there's also like a good constructive way to like have open conversations about sex and what you want. And like, I don't think we're not saying, you know, don't speak up if there's something you want to try or like something that you've had with a previous partner that you want to like bring into. I mean, obviously you don't say this one guy did this, but there's like a gentle way or, you know, a real way to like have construction conversations about sex and also give direction in the moment too. But this is actually just kind of like mean. Like this sounds mean spirited to me.
I don't think it's about that. I don't think it's about trying to change anything. I don't think he's trying to like help your sex life or like help him get off the way he wants to. Yeah. This is him being mean to you and making you feel like shit so you break up with him because he's having he doesn't want to be with you anymore. And it sucks, but like you have to, because like no matter how terrible no matter like any like issues in a relationship or whatever, like this is something that's off limits. I personally think like if there are certain things, if you say something that is so incredibly mean, like it has we're not progressing our relationship, it's not helping us, like then it's done. Like you can fuck up and make mistakes and do stupid shit, but if you're mean spirited and your goal is to hurt my feelings, like that, you don't move like that's insane. That's a child acting out. Like what the fuck did you do to him at all? And like it's just such a fucking low blow. But you need to break up with him. You also need to tell him that he's a fucking tiny penis.
Or weak penis. You bent it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like a little pipe cleaner. I try so hard, but like it's just so fragile and tiny. I don't
not
want to
hard
hurt
enough.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just like so soft
like
and small.
My vagina that's not tight enough is still like breaking your penis. That means that you have like a really
loose vagina. It's breaking it. Oh, because it's like it's just like it's like a wet noodle. I can't fold it up. Be like origami that dick. Like
I'm just like imagining this like squishy like flaccid man being like, yeah, you're not tight enough. It's like you're not big enough.
Yeah,
like,
you're falling out. I just think like this so sucks. And I also think like women have such like everyone always says like, oh, vagina tightening like, and that's such a huge thing. Like girls literally always like anytime a guy's like, tell me my dick is huge, like it's huge. He's like, choke on my cock. And you're like, I could never choke on this. Like we're doing exactly
like every woman in the world deserves an Academy Award. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like we all have it in us to put on a performance.
But that's also something that like no matter how upset you are with your partner, like you don't go there. You don't go there with it. Like, and anyone who goes there and is going to like be an asshole about like your body, and especially when in regards to sex, when it's something that like women already get shit on for sex all the time. And then he's going to turn around and be like, you know what? You're not even good at this, but like, I want you to continue to fucking blow me. Maybe he's just an asshole. And he just wants blowjobs all the time. He's just a selfish dick that he wants you to be like, no, let's like go like, let's have like sex 101. So like now we have to have sex like 50 fucking times a day. Like he's just being a fucking asshole. And I think you need to break up with him, because I don't think your fear should be, oh, what if he cheats on me? Like your fear should be, oh, not even fear. It just should be a realization. Like my boyfriend is a complete asshole and I need to break up with him. Like it's not going to get the idea that like, oh, well, what if something else happens? This is already bad. Like get out before anything else happens. That's going to make you feel even worse. But this is like the line is done.
Also, let's get back to the fear of cheating on me. Like, that's not a good feeling to have in a relationship. Like, there's also like, sounds like maybe some trust that has now been like broken down by like his really mean low blow comments.
Yeah.
And like, you know, this is like, it's not good. That's not good either. Like, you shouldn't be afraid that, you know, now that, you know, there's maybe this like one piece, like this little bit of friction, like, oh, now he's going to go elsewhere for it.
And
like,
that's the idea that like,
supposed to be like in it together.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. So I just have a kind of, it's not a problem with my relationship, it's a problem with me. My boyfriend, we've been together for 2.5 or 3 years, and he's, I'm 20 and he's 22, and he's very manly and, you know, like knows how to work on cars and all that, and just like very, you know, very much a gentleman, just like, you know, a man. And he has expressed interest in pegging, which I don't have a problem with doing that for him if that's what he wants. But I think I want advice on how. We haven't done it yet, and I'm worried that it might make me feel, or like, it might make him seem less masculine to me, and I don't think, I'm not sure if that will happen, but it just makes me feel a little hesitant. He's not pressuring you to do it at all. He's very, like, on my own time, but I don't know. I think that's one of the biggest things I'm worried about, even though I know I shouldn't be worried about it. So I guess if you have any advice of how I can, like, get over it, or just, yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think you've got a toxic masculinity issue. And I think, like, it's a lot more common than women like to admit that they also have that. And media it's the same reason why guys are looking at girls with like porn stars of all of that, and like we're comparing women that are comparing ourselves to these types of women, and then men are comparing ourselves to those types of women. The media is not, it goes both ways. Men have an issue with toxic masculinity within groups of men and feeling manly and strong and all of that. And then the media has also made us as, or heterosexual women feel the same way when it comes to like men, like manly men. And I don't want to be an asshole. It's a you problem. It's not like, oh, if you're not into pegging, if you're not into anything, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's the issue is the masculinity, and that's what you're worried about. It's not like, oh, you know what? Like, things I'm not into, a threesome. I'm not into a threesome. 2 dudes would totally do it. But like another girl, like too jealous, wouldn't do that. But like that, and that's okay. Like any whether it's like a fetishized thing or like anything, you don't have to be into what your partner's into. But the issue is it's not the sexual act that you're worried about. It's the fact that you're worried about him appearing less masculine, and the fact that like he's had to get over his own toxic masculinity to tell you this is something that he would want to do that is perceived like this. You're kind of perceiving it in his worst fear way, and he felt comfortable enough that you wouldn't do this. And I'm glad that you didn't say it to him and that you're calling to say it to us. But for some relationships, I say, like, when it's a sexual thing, I'm like, you know what, you're not matched up. This isn't the right guy for you. But this is an issue of yours. This is an issue of how you think that men are supposed to be, and it's dated, and it's something that you need to get over. And it's not like you don't need to find a really manly man because like you're perpetuating a toxic masculinity. That's saying like, okay, well, no, like then you need to make sure you need to go out and you have to get big ass tits. Like you have to like be like quiet and speak when spoken to, and all of these stereotypes of a woman. Like that's not fair. Like, and you also can't hold that to men in the same way that like we don't want those stereotypes held for women, and it's not fair. And I think you just need to like, I think that's your own issue that you need to figure out, that like, why the, like, what the fuck is masculinity? Someone defined that for like, people have just like, the media controlled what that meant. Like, yeah. In an alternate universe, masculinity could mean, oh, I'm really into wearing tights and eyeliner. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't, there is no actual meaning behind the word that we haven't created. And it's like, just this fake idea. And like, what does that mean to you? Like, if it means that you want someone who's going to like protect you, that has nothing to do with his masculinity. You want someone who you feel safe around, nothing to do with his masculinity. Any like emotional supportive traits that aren't having to do with like the physical or just like the concept and idea, like that's not masculinity at all. Like it's just a fucking obsolete, stupid term that should be like abolished. And like, it just, and I say this because like, I don't know, you might hate me after this, but like, I just think like you care about him and you're saying your issue isn't with the act, it's of like what you're going to think of him afterwards. And like, imagine if he said that about you. Like, what if like he, like, I don't know, like you like had said that maybe he wasn't into sex before marriage or whatever. And then he's like, well, I'm really afraid if I have sex with her, I'm going to think she's like a dirty slut and like, I can't marry her. Like, what the fuck? Like, do you like, it's just not fair because like it's this person that you really, really like and you really care about. And this one thing is going to be like, I don't know if I can look at you the same. Like, also are you going to have kids together? Is he going to fucking watch a baby come out of you? And he's like,
I was just going to say like, also sex is messy. Like sex is just messy. And I don't think we need to put different acts in boxes and tie that to like, who the person is on the inside. Like sex is, like a thing that like brings you both together and it's intimate and like it's a really important part of relationships. And I think the fact that he expressed like his wants and needs means that, he's really comfortable with you. It sounds like he has like a high level of maturity because he also knows what he wants and is able to like express that to you. And I think to think of him differently because he like expressed what he wants, that's not really fair. Also, like who's to say what he wants is like masculine, not like anyone can be into anything. And so, if you don't have an issue with experimenting with it or trying something new, then you can go into it with caution and if and try it out or not try it out, like that's your on you. But I think to also, if he did feel less masculine to you, like, would you be less attracted to him? Like, would you not want to be with him? Like, it sounds like he, is a good dude. Like you've been dating him for a while. Like, it sounds like you two have like, built a foundation over 2.5 to 3 years. Also, I think what's funny about like the 2.5 to 3 years, I think we're going to hear that like more and more now because people are doing that like exclusive but not in a relationship. Like, what does that mean?
We haven't defined it. It's like The Bachelor. It's like I think I'm starting to maybe potentially fall in love with you. Maybe.
Like, oh my God, they said, and like all the other person hears is like, love, like love me. Like there were so many qualifiers in front of that word. But also, I just think that part is funny. Like 2.5 to 3 years, because I think people are going to start to do that. Like, oh, the anniversary of our first date. It's like, well, I also was like dating 3 other people then and like texting 5 other people. And then we also didn't like lock it down till like 6 months later.
Yeah, very true.
But anyway, I just don't think, him feeling less masculine to you, that just seems arbitrary to me.
Pleasure doesn't define your sexuality.
I'm glad you didn't say this to him, or hope you didn't say this to him, and sought out more information. And I think, keep learning, keep educating yourself, and, be open to talking about it with him too, but don't tell him you'll, see him differently.
And have a conversation with yourself and be like, what am I afraid of? Like, what am I actually afraid of? And like, what am I attracted to him about him? And what's going to change?
I think it's great that you two have like built a foundation of trust and that he feels comfortable enough to like ask you for that. So kudos for that.
Yeah.
Keep asking for, more information.
Yeah.
There's a website called pegging101.com and I recommend you check it out.
Check it out. Also, we had another call about pegging, and I think we got a lot of people who with positive reviews being like, "Don't knock until you try it."
Yeah.
Also,
and it's like
power
empowering.
Move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Don't knock anything until you try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was some TV show, but I can't remember what it was. But it was like this group of guys, and like the manliest, quote unquote, manliest guy that was in the group was like, "There's nothing more manly than getting pegged."
Very true.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't know. Everyone's into
remember
everything.
what it was.
Oh yeah, now I want to.
Sounds like a good one. Well, I hope you continue to listen to the podcast. I'm only saying this tough love because I also don't think you're a total ignorant like asshole. I think this is just like, I think
you're learning.
And I think you're learning. And I think that there's like room to learn and grow. And I think that like you want to. So I don't hope you're not mad at me. But if you are, just know that I say this from like a place of like tough love because I think that we can all improve and do better in this. And even me, like I think for the longest time, I was like, I'm going to date a guy who's like 6'4". And then finally I was like, why the fuck do I fucking care? Also, you can't 69 if you're 6'4". Okay. Is it time for Don't Blame Them? Okay. So Don't Blame Them is a segment where listeners call in with their own personal advice on previous episodes. So someone tried pegging, maybe they have some input, any of that kind of stuff.
Cool.
What do we got today?
So this is from season 3, episode 26 with SKYN. And the original caller had called in because she thought that her younger sister needed counseling, but her mom was against it.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is someone calling to share advice.
Hi, Megan. I am calling in regards to your most recent podcast with SKYN to give some advice of my own. I wanted to call and give some advice on the caller whose younger sister was very depressed, but their very like old school Catholic mom is basically refusing any sort of therapy for her. So I'm a pediatric ER nurse for my job, and so I actually deal with teens who have mental health issues very frequently, actually, and I see all sorts of ranges with the parents too in regards to their support with their mental health. And it's really sad that there are just shitty parents who just are in straight denial that their kid isn't perfect, like SKYN said, which makes me really sad. But I wanted to give a medical and kind of legal standpoint for this call. So I think that the advice of going to a school counselor is great. Every school should have some sort of school counselor that she can go to and that she can talk to. And if at any point her sister feels any sort of suicidality, she needs to be telling that school counselor, because school counselors, medical professionals, everyone in those sort of areas of public service are mandated reporters. She can't tell that school counselor that she's feeling suicidal and the counselor not be able to call 911 and say, you need to go to an emergency room for an emergency evaluation, because she's at imminent risk to herself. And so if she ever feels like that, she should do that. And once a child is in the ER, it makes it a lot harder for the parents to be able to deny necessary medical care. Because now you're surrounded by doctors and nurses and social workers. And it just makes it a lot harder for her to be an ignorant asshole, to put it frankly. And from that point, if they're still denying her medical care, then it possibly becomes a DCFS or CPS, whatever you guys call it in your state evaluation, where we could get them involved if they are still flat out refusing necessary medical care, because that falls under the realm of neglect. I think that's what a lot of people forget is that DCFS is not just for abuse, but also for neglect. And denying your child of necessary medical care is neglect, which is sad, but very often seen. And I've called DCFS for this many times before too. So I hope this helps.
First of all, like, you're amazing. Like, I can't believe that you listen. Melissa and I always have this when someone calls in. It's like, oh, I'm a therapist. Oh, I do this thing. I'm like, can't believe you listen to our podcast. Like, I feel so, not to make this about me and like me feeling so honored, but like this, I don't know. That's like,
it's like a high form of validation.
Yeah. It feels like the biggest kind of like, no offense to anyone who's just like a college kid who like listens to the podcast, but like when someone who's like in a position,
a professional.
Yeah. That's like of stuff that we kind of like touch on. I think it's great. And that is great advice. I never even thought, which makes sense though, but I never even thought that you could call Child Protective Services for neglect, and not taking your kid to therapy or a psychiatrist if they need to is considered neglect and child abuse, which it is. And I think that's like, I think that's like amazing. Obviously you don't want it to get to a point where she's suicidal and like having to like go to the ER or anything like that. But like, I think if that her older sister listening, I think like that's like at least there's like if it gets that bad, that's probably the worst it can get before there's other intervention. Like there's going to be a line in which like something's going to have to happen if it gets to that point. But yeah, that was really helpful.
Mm-hmm. That's good legal advice too. That's like nice to know that like, oh, this is how you also like navigate those services and stuff. Cause I think, you know, on the day to day, you're just like thinking about this problem. And you don't think about like the greater services that could be out there to help you or know what's available to you. So that's good.
Or even like not the just like the ignorance and like not awareness of mental health. It's so like it can feel so all encompassing, but then it's like, oh no, medical professionals, like those are people who are like, no, this is something that has to be done. This is our field. This is the medical field. This is like, we know how the brain works. This is all of that stuff. The fact that like, that's, I don't know, that it's like, you can feel like very alone in that and feeling like, oh, I'm like crazy or whatever, but it gets to a certain like level or a certain point where you're in the hands of the people who are there to tell you like your health and all of that stuff. Like those are the ones who are like, no, this is a necessity. This is something that has to happen. And like parents or any adults who say like, no, you don't need this. This is like, whatever. It's whatever. The only person who can determine if you need that or not even necessarily need, obviously you, but like a doctor, like a doctor is someone who can like actually has the credentials to stand by a statement like that.
And also can be more of like a validating voice than, you know, like you trying to stand up for your sister to your parent. Like maybe she just needs that outside. I don't know the situation because I wasn't here for the episode. But I will say, like, I think having validating voice and a professional voice, that could be helpful.
Mm-hmm. As two people in therapy, we talk about how much being validated is great.
Oh, being validated's the best.
It's the greatest feeling in the world. All I ask for all the time. Just give me validation. Well, oh my God, that's it for our episodes. Cindy, thanks so much for being on.
Oh, this was great.
Oh, you're such a nice Cancer.
Here. Yeah, I try.
You're so nice.
I do my best.
It's remarkable that we're still friends because
really
you're
is.
so nice.
You're nice.
Sometimes. Did you laugh?
I just had something in my throat.
Fucking sure.
You're nice.
Do you want people to follow you on Instagram?
Sure, go for it.
Go follow.
There's nothing interesting there.
You're still the Squidney, right?
Yeah, I'm still the Squidney. It's just my life. It's nothing interesting.
No, it's real great. I love it. It's very interesting to me.
It's just me doing my thing.
Doing her
That's
life.
all.
Living, doing all that shit.
Going to farmers markets everywhere I go.
It's really cute.
That's
though.
really what it is.
I like your Instagram.
Whoa.
No, it is a good
Talk
one.
about validation.
Oh gosh. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have some issues in your life and you want our help, give us a ring-a-ling. Leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can leave us an audio message and email it to us at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Patreon, check it out. We're there. We have so much more to offer now. Lots of things there. And lots of bonus content, fun stuff. And then follow us on Instagram, Don't Blonde Meme Pod, and everything else is in the show notes. Check it. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso, part of the HerPod Network.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast, and with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The Heresies of Redolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey, guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.